Once upon a time, in the quiet town of Lagos, there lived a young woman named Amara. She was kind, her voice was soft, her smile could calm a crying baby. And men, oh, men loved her. Some promised her a house, some promised her money, some said, "Marry me, and I will take you around the world." But Amara wasn't moved by any of them. She didn't care for big cars. She didn't care for tall men. She didn't care if you had land or name. She would smile. She would thank them. But deep in her heart, she was waiting, waiting for one thing, a thing no one could see with eyes, a thing she didn't tell anybody. What Amara wanted was a man that could satisfy her in bed. Not a man with money, not a man with fame, not a man with muscles. She didn't care if he was rich or poor, tall or short, fair or dark. As long as his thing was big and strong like a fresh yam from the farm, she would be happy. She didn't tell her friends. She didn't tell her mother. She carried the secret like a calabash of hot water, quiet, careful, and close to her chest. Sometimes, at night, she would lay on her bed and whisper to herself, "God, please give me a man that can handle me. A man that his thing would be at least 3 times the average one. That is all I ask." She had everything else, beauty, peace, even suitors. But she waited. And one day a man came, a good man. But not the kind Amara was praying for. That man's name was Uchi. Uche was not tall. He was not rich. He did not wear gold chains or drive a big car. But his heart was soft like boiled yam and full like a river during rainy season. He had a small shop beside the market road where he sold phone chargers, earphones, power banks, and screen guards. Every morning, he opened the shop before the sun woke up. Every night, he closed it when the moon had already yawned. One day, Uche saw Amara passing by with her basket. He froze. His heart beat like village drum. He cleaned his face. Then he ran outside and said, "Good afternoon. I like your smile." Amara smiled again, not because of his words, but because he was gentle, soft-spoken, not like others who shouted and whistled. From that day, Uche became like a shadow behind her. He sent her lunch when she was hungry. He bought her gifts, not expensive things, but useful ones. Slippers for her tired feet, umbrella for the sun, even pain medicine when her head was hot. When Amara's mother fell sick, Uche was the first to bring her medicine. He paid the hospital bill. He even swept their compound when Amara was tired. "Uche is trying," her mother said one day. "This one is different." For 6 full moons, Uche did everything to make Amara smile. And she did smile. She would look at him sometimes and think, maybe this is what love feels like. Software quiet, safe. Then one evening, under the mango tree near her house, Uche held her hand. His palm was warm. His eyes were shaking. "Amara," he said, "I want to marry you." Amara looked at him. Her heart was soft. She remembered all the good things, all the kind things. She nodded slowly and said, "Yes, Uche, I will marry you." The sky was clear that night. The stars clapped. The moon smiled. But inside Amara's heart, one question still sat like a stubborn stone. Can he satisfy me? She did not ask him. Not yet. But the answer was coming. And it would change everything. One bright morning, Uche and Amara packed their bags and traveled to Enugu for a friend's wedding. The journey was long but sweet. They sat beside each other in the bus, talking and laughing. Uche held her hand gently, like someone holding a leaf in the wind. When they reached Enugu, they checked into a small hotel. The room was neat. White bedsheet, soft pillow, small table. Just enough for rest. The wedding was the next day, so that night, Amara sat on the edge of the bed. The window was open. The air was cool. Uche was sitting beside her, smiling. He looked happy. He looked ready to plan his life. But Amara's mind was not on wedding talk. She had been waiting for this moment, this chance, this test. She looked at Uchi with quiet eyes and said, "Can I see it?" Uchi blinked. His smile slowed down. "See what?" he asked. Amara touched his hand gently. "I just want to see what you have down there." Uchi looked away. He was shy like a boy in front of elders. But after a long breath, he stood up. He turned his back, pulled down his trousers, and then his boxers. Amara's heart began to beat. She closed her eyes. Then she opened them, and her smile ran away. It was small, too small. She stared. She didn't say a word, but her face spoke loud. Uche turned and asked softly, "What is it? You're not saying anything." Amara took a deep breath. Her words came out sharp, like dry broomsticks. "Uche, this thing is too small. It can't do anything. It looks like something from a toddler. I'm sorry, but I can't manage this. What I want is cassava, but you only have a carrot." Uche's face changed. He looked down at himself, then looked back at her. "But, Amara, I love you," he said, his voice shaking. Amara forced a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Her chest was tight. Her stomach felt like stone. She looked down, then looked at the wall, then stood up and walked to the bathroom. Inside, she locked the door. She held the sink. She looked at her reflection in the mirror, and she whispered, "No, not again. I can't. His thing is too small. I want at least 12 inches." That night, she didn't sleep well. She faced the wall. Ucha snored lightly beside her, but Amara's eyes were open like a thief in the bush. Her heart was no longer soft. It was cold now, cold like Hamatan breeze on bare skin. And when the wedding ended the next day, Amara already knew what she would do. She would leave, quietly, without looking back. The wedding was over. People danced. Music played. The couple smiled and kissed. Uche clapped. He looked at Amara with joy in his heart. "We'll be next," he said, his eyes full of dreams. "I'll start saving more. We'll have a big wedding too." Amara nodded, but her smile was small. Her eyes did not match her lips. That night, when they returned to the hotel, Uche slept like a baby goat after long play, but Amara sat by the window. The wind touched her face. Her mind was far. Before the first cock crowed, Amara had already packed her bag. Slowly, quietly, she folded her gown, took her slippers, wore her scarf, then opened the door like a thief in the night. She walked away. No note, no goodbye, no look back. The sun rose. Uchi stretched his arms and yawned. "Amara?" he called. No answer. He stood up, checked the bathroom. Empty. He opened the wardrobe. Her clothes were gone. Her shoes were gone. Everything gone. His heart began to pound. He picked his phone, called her. No answer. He called again. No answer. He called 20 times. Still no answer. He sat on the bed, confused, lost. His hands shook. His eyes were wet. "What did I do wrong?" he asked the air. He kept calling, morning, afternoon, night. Then one day, it said, "Number you are trying to reach is not available." She had blocked him, blocked his number, blocked his heart. Uche cried. His tears poured like rain on a zinc roof. His chest felt heavy, like someone put stone inside. He did not eat. He did not open his shop. He just sat and stared at the wall. Amara was gone, and with her, she carried Uchi's peace. Amara moved on like dust swept away by evening wind. She cleaned her heart, wiped her phone, smiled like nothing had happened. Nobody knew what she left behind, not even her close friends. Then one day, her phone beeped. It was a message on Instagram. "Hi, beautiful. You shine brighter than Lagos street lights." The name was Mark. His page had pictures, clean suits, office table, car keys, and gym mirror selfies. Amara looked at the photos. She smiled. "He looks serious," she said. She replied, and Mark replied back. His words were calm, his messages soft like butter on bread. After some chats, Mark said, "I work in a bank. Not rich, but I'm okay. I like your spirit." In 1 week, they were talking every night. In 2 weeks, they were laughing like old friends. In 1 month, they started dating. Mark was gentle. He did not rush her. He spoke slowly, like someone pouring oil into a small bottle. He took her out to eat, to shop, to the cinema. He bought her shoes. He sent her money. He gave her his jacket when the wind blew cold. Amara smiled again. This one is different, she thought. Not too loud, not too soft. Maybe he's the one. But still, something sat inside her heart like a stone in a pot of soup. She had to be sure of the one thing that truly mattered to her. Because love was not enough for Amara. She needed more, and she would soon find out. One warm weekend, Mark invited Amara to his house. He lived in a clean apartment, the type with soft chairs, shiny tiles, and framed pictures on the wall. The air smelled like vanilla and perfume. Amara looked around and smiled. "You keep your house neat," she said. Mark laughed. "I like peace," he replied. That day, he cooked jollof rice with fried plantain. He played soft love songs in the background. He lit a candle. Amara laughed and said, "You want to turn your house into a wedding reception?" Mark smiled. "Only if the bride agrees." They ate. They joked. They watched a movie. Then the room became quiet. Amara leaned back on the pillow. Her eyes followed him as he walked to close the curtain. He came back and sat beside her. She looked at him gently and said, "Can I see it?" Mark blinked. "See what?" She touched his chest softly. "I just want to see it. Before anything happens." Mark looked shy for a second. Then he laughed. "You're bold, oh," he said. "But I like it." He stood up, turned, pulled down his boxers. Amara closed her eyes. She took a breath, then opened them slowly, and her heart sank again. It was small, not as small as Uchi's, but still small. She didn't say a word. She just sat there like a tree during dry season. Mark turned around. "Is everything okay?" he asked. Amara forced a smile, but her face was already cold. She rubbed her palms together. "I need to travel tomorrow," she whispered. Mark sat beside her. He touched her back. "You can stay a few more days." But Amara's mind was gone. She had already packed herself in her heart. Because for her, this was the end. She had seen what she needed to see. That night, after the food, the music, and the soft kisses on her hand, Amara sat on Mark's bed and said, "I have to go home tomorrow." Mark looked surprised. "So soon?" he asked. She nodded. Something came up, but nothing came up. Her heart had already gone down. The next morning, she hugged him lightly. "Thank you for everything," she said. Mark smiled. "Call me when you get home." She nodded. Then she walked out the door and never came back. That same evening, Mark picked up his phone. "Hi, babe. Are you home now?" No reply. He waited. 1 hour passed. 2 hours. He tried calling. "The number you are trying to reach is not available." He opened WhatsApp, blocked. He opened Instagram, blocked. He opened his photo album. Her pictures, gone. His hands began to shake. His eyes looked around the room like he was searching for answers in the air. What did I say? What did I do wrong? He whispered to himself. He sat down. The candle from yesterday was still on the table, but the flame inside his heart had gone off. For days, Mark stayed indoors. He didn't go to work. He didn't eat well. He didn't bathe. He just sat by the window, staring at the gate, waiting for a knock that would never come. The same girl who laughed with him had vanished like smoke from morning fire, and all he had left was silence. After Mark, Amara wiped her tears with powder and put on her red lipstick again. Her heart was cold, but her face still smiled. She told herself, next time, I will not waste time. I must get it right. Then came Darlington. Darlington was tall, like Iroko tree, dark like roasted plantain, and strong like a wrestler from the village festival. He had 6 packs, real ones, not the type boys draw with powder. His chest was broad, his voice deep like thunder, and his smell followed him like perfume with legs. Amara met him at a club. The music was loud, the lights were blinking, but Darlington stood out like a full moon in a dark sky. He danced like the music was living inside him. His steps were smooth. His body moved like a snake on hot sand. Amara watched from her seat. Her eyes followed him. Her lips parted. She smiled without knowing. He danced closer to her. Then he stopped and said, "You've been staring at me since. Do you want to dance or just dream?" Amara laughed. She stood up and they danced. That night, he gave her his number, and from that moment, Darlington became the wind that followed her everywhere. He took her out for fun. He drove her to parties. He sent her sweet messages. And one day, he said, "You are too beautiful to be jobless. I'll open a store for you." And he did. A big one, full of clothes, shoes, and handbags. Amara smiled. Her friends clapped. Her mother said, "This one looks serious." And Amara told herself, maybe, just maybe, this is the one. But her eyes were still watching. Her heart was still waiting. Because Darlington had one thing left to prove. One night, the moon was full and the weather was cool. Amara wore her soft red gown. Darlington picked her up and drove her to his house. The room smelled like cinnamon. The bed was big. The light was low. Everything felt right. They laughed. They kissed. Then they lay down together. Amara's heart began to beat fast. Let this be the one, she thought. Let this be the one who can handle me. Darlington removed his shirt. His chest shined like wet wood after rain. His muscles were bold. His body was ready. Then he removed his trousers. Amara saw it. Her eyes opened wide. She smiled. She bit her lower lip. "Yes," she whispered inside. "This is what I've been praying for." It was big. It was strong. Just like she wanted. They laid down. Darlington climbed on. Amara adjusted herself. She held him. She whispered, "Take your time." Darlington nodded. He entered. 1, 2, 3. Then he shouted, "Oh my God!" and rolled off, flat, like a tired goat. Amara blinked. "What?" she asked. Darlington turned to her, breathing fast, smiling like a fool. "Wow, that was fire," he said. Amara sat up. Her wrapper was still hanging on one arm. Her body hadn't even caught the heat. She looked at him. "Darlington, wait, that's all?" He smiled. "Yes, now. You didn't enjoy it?" Her face changed. Her voice rose. "Enjoy what? That was not up to 1 minute. Darlington, even okra soup lasts longer on fire." Darlington scratched his head. It's stress. Work has been too much. I just need rest. Amara hissed and turned her back. But later, she gave him another chance. One more night, she wore her silk gown. She lit a candle. They tried again. But same story. 30 seconds, and Darlington was already thanking God. This time, Amara didn't shout. She stood up. She wore her dress. She picked her bag. Darlington sat on the bed, still smiling. Are you angry? He asked. Amara didn't answer. She walked to the door, opened it, and said, Your body passed the test, but your engine failed. And she left. Darlington called her the next day. She didn't pick. He texted. She didn't reply. Because in her heart, the answer was clear. The body was there, but the fire was not. By now, mouths had opened. People were talking, whispering like wind through dry leaves. At the market gate, a woman said, That Amara, she has sent 3 men away. Is she a queen? Another replied, I heard she left a banker, a fine one, and that tall one too. Gone. A third voice added, Maybe she's cursed. Maybe something is chasing her. The word spread like fire on dry grass. In church, at the hair salon, even at her mother's compound. Some said she was too proud. Some said her standards were too high. Others said she would grow old with no husband. But Amara didn't care. She still wore her red lipstick. She still walked like she owned the ground. She still smiled and waved at people. But inside her, something was changing. She was tired. Tired of testing. Tired of hoping. Tired of pretending. Her legs walked strong, but her heart was weak. Her face glowed, but her soul was heavy. Each night, she sat by her window and whispered, Where is he? Where is the one that will match me? And as she slept, dreams of Uchi came back. The one with small size, but a big heart. She chased the dream away because she believed the right one was still coming, but she didn't know. The next one would change her life forever. One sunny afternoon, at a wedding full of music and jollof rice, Amara sat under the canopy, fanning herself with her hand. Her red dress hugged her waist. Her earrings danced when she moved, and her smile floated like breeze. Then a black car stopped near the gate. Out came a man. He was big, very big. His belly pushed against his agbada like a baby trying to come out. His cheeks were round like puff-puff. Gray hairs lined his jaw like white ants on a tree branch. He walked slowly, but with pride. People greeted him. Chief, welcome. Chief, long life. He nodded and waved like a king. Then his eyes found Amara. He walked to her table. She looked up. Their eyes met. Chief smiled. You are the woman I want to marry. Amara burst into laughter. She thought it was a joke. Sir, I don't even know your name, she said. Chief looked her in the eye. Name is not as important as peace. I may not have youth, but I can give you peace, respect, and honor. Amara blinked. She had never heard a man speak like that. She looked around. People were watching. Chief didn't care. He held his belly and said, I may not be rich now, but I know how to treat a wife. Just say yes. Amara smiled again. This time, it was small. Software. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no either, because something in her heart had started to shift, and that shift would lead her into a path she didn't expect. A few days later, Amara sat with Chief under a mango tree. The wind was soft. The leaves danced gently. Chief wore white. His cap matched his shoes. Amara crossed her arms and looked at him. What of your size? She asked, her voice low. Chief smiled. His eyes sparkled. In my family, he said, we do not touch our wives before marriage. It is a sacred rule. No sex, no show, until after wedding. Amara's face changed. She shifted on her chair. But how will I know what I'm marrying? She asked. Chief laughed, rubbing his belly. We are full of surprises in my family. Good ones. Amara looked at the ground. She didn't like that rule. Her mind was not at peace. But Chief's words were soft like warm water. His voice made her feel calm. Then he said, I will pay for everything. Your gown, your makeup, your bride price, everything. And he did. The next morning, Chief went to her parents' house. He wore lace. He came with drinks and money. He knelt down. He spoke with respect. Her parents smiled. They agreed. Her mother danced around the house, singing, My daughter is going to marry a chief. Amara stood in front of the mirror that night, looking at herself. Her heart was not full, but her head said yes. And so the wedding bell began to ring. She picked colors. She booked makeup. She chose cake. She smiled in pictures. But deep inside her chest, a question was hiding. What will she meet on that wedding night? She would soon find out, and her joy would not last long. The wedding day came. Drums beat like thunder. Women tied their headscarves tight. The air smelled of fried rice and perfume. Amara wore a white gown that touched the ground. Her face shone like early morning sun. Her lips were red. Her eyes were painted. People clapped when she walked in. Her mother danced with wrapper flying side to side. Her sisters sang her name like songbirds. Amara! Amara the bride. Chief wore a gold agbada. His cap sat proudly on his head. He walked like someone who had just won a prize goat at the village fair. Pictures were taken. Gifts were shared. The day was full of joy. But the night was waiting. After the last guest left, Chief held Amara's hand and took her to a hotel room. The light was dim. The bed was wide. The room was quiet. Chief began to undress, slowly. He dropped his cap. He removed his agbada, then his trousers. Amara sat on the bed, her heart pounding like a talking drum. Then she saw it. She froze. Her mouth opened, but no word came out. It was big, too big, like yam that refused to be sliced. She looked away, then looked back. She blinked, but it was still there. Chief smiled. He climbed onto the bed. That night, he took her. It was not once. It was twice. By morning, it was 3 times. Amara cried in the bathroom, holding the wall. Her legs were weak. Her waist was heavy. Her body felt like broken calabash. For the first time in her life, Amara felt it. She was full. She was satisfied. She laid on the bed with her eyes half closed and whispered, If all men can be like this, what else is a woman looking for? She smiled. She even laughed inside the bathroom. Finally, she said, This is it. But she didn't know. That was just the beginning. Because the next morning, Chief touched her again. By evening, he wanted her again. Then again the next morning. Then again before lunch. Sometimes in the afternoon. Sometimes in the middle of the night. Amara tried to keep up. She tried to enjoy it. She tried to smile. But her body began to fail. Her legs shook. Her waist cried. Her back ached like firewood left in the rain. One night, she crawled into the bathroom and held the wall. Tears poured from her eyes. Her voice was weak. Her soul was tired. She looked into the mirror and whispered, This is too much. I didn't pray for this kind of fire. The thing she once prayed for had now become her punishment. Her smile faded. Her joy dried up, and the peace chief promised was nowhere to be found. 3 weeks passed. Amara's legs were shaking. Her back ached like she was carrying stone. Her eyes had lost their shine. Her voice was no longer sweet. Each night, Chief came to her like a storm. Each morning, she limped to the bathroom like a broken broom. She tried to smile, but inside her, something had cracked. One morning, while Chief was away, Amara packed her bag. She wore slippers. She wrapped her hair, and without a word, she left the house. She ran, far, to her aunt's house in another town. When her aunt opened the door, she saw tears on Amara's face, dust on her feet, and fear in her eyes. Amara fell on the chair and said, "I made a mistake. I can't go back." Her aunt hugged her. She made her tea. She gave her wrapper. She told her to rest. Amara turned off her phone. She didn't want to hear Chief's voice. She didn't want to see his name. But peace does not last long in a story like this. 3 days later, there was a knock at the door. Two men stood outside, tall, quiet, dressed in white. One said, "We are from Chief's family. In our house, divorce is a taboo. No woman leaves her husband." Her aunt knelt down. "Please, she's still young. Give her time," she begged. They shook their heads. They walked into the room. They picked Amara's bag. They told her, "Stand up. You're going home." Amara looked at her aunt. Her eyes begged for help. But the aunt could only cry. She watched as they led her niece out like a goat, going back to a place it feared. And just like that, Amara was back. Back in the house. Back in the fire. Back to the man she once prayed for. When Amara stepped back into the house, she looked around. The fine car, gone. The borrowed lace and shoes, gone. The golden curtains, gone. Even the big TV, gone. The house was empty, cold, quiet, like a room waiting to be forgotten. She dropped her bag and sat on the floor. The wedding ring on her finger was fake. The clothes in the wardrobe were returned. The perfumes on the table, finished. Everything Chief had used to shine was borrowed. Even the chair she now sat on had 3 legs. Chief came out of the inner room with his wrapper loose and a tired smile. "Welcome," he said. Amara looked at him. No words came out, because now she saw the full truth. Chief had nothing, no business, no house of his own, no savings, no real plan. He only wanted a wife. And his family helped him get one. Now, they expected her to stay, to cook, to clean, to smile, to serve. But there was no love, no child, no joy, no peace. Some nights, Chief would snore while Amara stared at the ceiling. Her hands would rest on her stomach, empty. Her chest would feel tight. Her shop, sold to pay debt. Her friends, gone. Her laughter, lost. She thought of Uchi, the one with the small thing, but a big heart. The one who loved her gently, helped her mother, held her hand like it was gold. She whispered to herself, "Why didn't I stay?" But the wind did not answer. The walls stayed silent. Now, Amara is only 28, but she looks older. Her face has dried. Her smile is fake. Her eyes cry at night. She opens the window sometimes and watches the sky, hoping the stars will carry her away, but they don't, because she is stuck in a house that was built on lies, with a man who gives her his body, but nothing more. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video, comment what you learned from the tale, share with friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more African folk tales just like this one. Thank you.